Hi, this is Mark,
And this is John.
and
We're
we're the
the
Armchair
Armchair
Thinkers.
Thinkers.
And today we're going to be talking about the Canadian election.
That's right. Part deux. Because, of course, couldn't see my fingers there. Because we did talk about this earlier, we expected an NDP victory, and we were dead wrong. It is looking out to be the Liberals, isn't it?
Yeah, Liberals in not every province, but they're ahead of the NDP in both Quebec and BC, where the NDP was dominating before.
Yeah, places that were really NDP strongholds. And it's kind of a relief, at least, that it's the Liberals and not the Bloc that's coming back in Quebec.
Yeah.
So what was it that caused this whole thing? It was, I think it was sort of around the niqab controversy.
Yeah, Mulcair said that you should be able to wear the niqab during the citizenship ceremony, as well as everywhere else. And then the Conservatives were saying just not during that one ceremony, and they tried to turn that into a big issue, a big wedge issue, although it makes no practical difference.
Well, I mean, that's the issue. They tried to turn it into a big issue, but it kind of backfired because Mulcair is less popular in Quebec because of it. And other Canadians who tend, as it so happens, to be against wearing the niqabs in the ceremony, I don't really think care about that issue very much. As you say, it is so small. It's just strategic voting. Quebecers didn't like even the whiff of supporting it, so then everyone else turned against them, and they were like, no, we're not supporting the NDP anymore because it doesn't look like they can topple Harper. So it's funny how politics works, but now it looks like Trudeau will dominate. And what do you think that'll mean for Canada?
Well, it should mean more infrastructure spending, including going to some deficits in order to fund that. As well, he's probably going to try to implement his tax break for people making between 44 and about 90,000. So that'll help the middle to mostly the upper middle class at the expense of people making over 250,000 and who would put that on their tax return, which is very and probably fewer in number now.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was silly. We commented on this in our last video that he's making it like he's supporting the middle class, and it's, well, yeah, but you're only supporting the part of the middle class that has more money than most Canadians. So, frankly, I have no reason to want to vote for you. But it looks like he's being strategically used to topple Harper, which is good at minimum, in our opinion.
Yeah.
I really do think he might be able to do well. It's just this whole thing about him seeming really disingenuous that bothers me. It's just a vibe I get from him. But, he was raised being a kind of a celebrity, and he plays the game like a celebrity. But I guess that's what politics kind of has become now.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to point out is that sometimes he has flawed judgment. So originally he got in a lot of trouble for supporting C-51 because he said, well, if I'm against this, I can't be against that, and I have to be kowtow to the Conservatives sometimes. No, you don't, actually.
Not on issues like this, because then you look like you're fucking pro-tyranny, just like Harper.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing is, he's shown bad judgment in dealing with people as well. So a couple of Liberal MPs had been sexually harassing a couple of NDP MPs, and then Trudeau kicked them out, which caused a media circus for about 3 weeks. It's just a bad idea. I support his thing about supporting marijuana, but he said it on the cuff. I think he sometimes makes just blanket judgments very quickly, and doesn't think things through sometimes. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that's generally true of him. I don't find there's much depth in his politics, not necessarily as a person. He seems to be kind of like glib and manipulating, kind of like Martin was, although he and Martin are quite different in a lot of ways, just psychologically. But, I'm sorry, that glibness is not something that I like to see in a politician, because it implies that you don't really stand for anything. Like with Obama, that was an issue that happened. Like change. Well, yeah, great change, but you need to tell us what kind of change because I have no reason to want to vote for you. I don't know. But
Yeah.
again, that was toppling Bush in a lot of ways. So, like we said in the last video, it's weakness in the competition that usually inspires people to rise to the top. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if Trudeau takes it, which he probably will, but we've been wrong before. So
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out is that he's winning even some rural areas in Ontario. Like he's just dominating Ontario. That's where about a third of the country lives.
oh yeah,
So yeah, I mean he could take it just on support from Ontario, and well, of course he's strong in Atlantic Canada, and just smattering throughout, and it's surprising because I would not have thought that you could form government based mostly on support just from Ontario. I thought you'd need another base.
That's funny because people have often complained about that in different parts of Canada. Like they've said, it's not cool that Ontario has all of the influence in politics. We need to bring the West into Canada. We need to bring Quebec into Canada.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that this guy from a Quebec background ultimately is finding all the support in Ontario and is re-enthroning that old sense of power consolidated in that area. But I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thing to see happen and play out. And like it or not, we might have a Trudeau dynasty right here in Canada.